Alright, so I don't know why, but like, I just decided to make a top 10 video on. I decided to look at this what if William Afton was smart. They should have just put FNAF what if. They should have put FNAF before what if, but whatever.
I've gone on and on about how stupid William Afton is, and how he could have been doing just a couple things to be more difficult to capture or even maybe impossible, but just how would these things have made him a better villain, and what would have happened if William Afton was actually smart. That's what we're exploring today. Let's do it. Location. The location of the various crimes does actually factor into its effectiveness, believe it or not. The idea that William was killing in his own Fazbear restaurants is a ridiculous concept that in reality should have gotten him sent to prison. The saying...
Okay. Alright, problem number one. So basically what this guy is saying is that William has committed different type of murders. Basically what he's trying to say is like, basically, William has been committing murders in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is his own restaurant. And obviously he's saying that he should have been arrested because of children gone missing. However, just remember that William has a business partner, and in the Silver Eyes, a lot of people think that Henry was the one. And in the Silver Eyes, when William killed Sammy Emily, Charlie's brother, a lot of people, and I guess Charlie, and I guess for spoilers in the trilogy, Charlie herself, a lot of people in that universe thought that Henry was the one who killed Sammy and Charlie, and not William. A lot of people, not people reading the book, but a lot of people in that continuity, if you get what I mean, thought that Henry killed them. So obviously, and not to mention the fact that the police had no proof of William killing the children. People had no proof of William doing that in the Silver Eyes. Now in the gaming universe, in the video game universe, even if people don't think it was Henry that did it, they still have no proof of William doing it because the children have gone missing.
Something along the lines of like, don't crap where you eat, which some take literally, others take as don't date people you see on a regular basis, and in this scenario I suggest that it should mean don't kill people where you're seen on a regular basis, or, you know, constantly, because it's your own business, especially if it's the business that like targets kids. And
here's another thing to gloat by. The thing is, how do we know if William even owns the first Freddy's location? Well, at least like the second one and the 1993 one, because it just seems like he owned Fredbear. It seemed like the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza came out in like the early 70s era, and then in 1988 Fredbear was a thing. And then the crying kid died. William murdered Charlie. William was kept away from Fazbear Entertainment, kicked and fired William, so that way he had to go by the name Dave Miller. Okay, but maybe not that. I'm just going too far into the fucking Oof Troops lore. But you get what I mean. We don't know. It's kind of theorized that like William doesn't own the 1987 grand reopening restaurant and the 1993 restaurant, and also it mainly also could be during the time where William also made the sister location. So for all we know, William is fine because all he had to do was put on the Spring Bonnie suit, which he did, which made him mysterious, lure some kids in the back, kill them, get out, go in, get out, essentially. So no one knows who he was. And even if And even if like a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza restaurant did get closed down because of something like this, William isn't gonna give a fucking shit about about the fucking restaurant. He doesn't give a fuck about the restaurant at all. He's just gonna make another one. He could just make another one, and then hell, even use those robots to kill the kids, to kill kids. I mean, that's what his plan was for this location, so that way he could get Remnant.
Oh yes, this doesn't instantly make you guilty, but come on. The first thing that anyone would do in this situation, not even a cop, would be question everyone who was working when whatever had happened, or whoever it was disappeared. And let's be realistic, an incident the likes of the missing children's incident from 1985 would ruin a business permanently. None of this somehow they stay open bullshit, because in the real world they would end up closing permanently, because no parent would want to go to a place where 5 kids went missing, especially when no bodies were found, which could maybe help them, but it certainly wouldn't help much.
I wouldn't say that okay, here's my take on this. I might be wrong, but like I wouldn't be sure if a restaurant would close down permanently. It would definitely close down for for a few weeks. But I doubt it would close down permanently if a few kids went missing. Because what if those kids were alive and were just hiding like in a mysterious place when no parents could find them? Like, have you ever thought about that? Like, cause like if there's no body been found, then like still.
If Afton had any competitors, any at all, right? Even this world's version of Chuck E. Cheese, Afton should have gone there if he had any competitors, or literally anywhere else would have made more sense.
Okay, that is where you're kind of wrong. First off, let me just address one thing. Unless we're gonna count the Fazbear Fanverse as canon, which means that the Pop Goes restaurant exists and Candy's Burgers and Fries, which they don't. Okay? First off, there's not really any proof that there's any other competitors in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise unless we're just going by the law, unless we're like going by the law that Henry owns Freddy Fazbear's and William owns Circus Baby's Diner, Pizza World. And if we're going by that logic, then William can just go to Freddy Fazbear's, kill 5 kids, and then just walk out. Obviously, he has to be in a suit, so that way no one detects his face. But like, there's no competitors. Also, you'd also think that like, also not to mention, also if he went anywhere else, even with or without the Spring Bonnie suit, he'd still get caught because there'd probably be some form of monitors around a certain area and people would be able to see him take a kid into some area and then come out with the kid missing, if you get what I mean. Like, if it was a building, he'd be fucked. And if he was wearing the Spring Bonnie outfit, that would go back to the restaurant, and that suit would be confiscated. So that way, William wouldn't even have a suit to kill with, and that way he would only have to kill without the suit, and that would lead him to get caught. So I don't know. It just seems like a smart thing to do. Is I don't know. If you think about it like that, William killing in the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza restaurant with the Spring Bonnie suit seems like a smart idea, because like I don't think he actually owns the restaurant, and even if he did, he could just make another one, because he created Afton Robotics and made Circus Baby's Pizza Diner, which closed down, but it probably wouldn't have if Elizabeth wasn't a child, which she is, and got herself killed.
However, he chose to kill where he eats, and that's probably one of the worst decisions that he could have made. Well,
why did you say it like that? He doesn't eat there. He chose to kill where he eats. You mean he chose to kill where he serves? Because, like, he's not eating the pizza, he's serving it.
Aside from, the killing in the first place. Animatronics. While the animatronics are an entirely other
Alright, animatronics, let's get
mistake,
started.
this time around I
Animatronics.
want to talk about how stupid it was to hide the bodies in the animatronics. Like, how the f*** did he end up getting away with this? The smell of
Well, it's quite simple. First off, the police aren't gonna check First off, the police aren't... First off, I don't think the police are going to expect someone to put dead children in, like, the working animatronics. Well, as far as we know. Also, but then again, I could be wrong.
rotting bodies would already ruin the place, especially when its focus is eating pizza. The heat from the animatronic insides would speed up decomposition, and the animatronics are in front of people every single day. They even started complaining that they were leaking blood and mucus as well.
What part of that? Wait. What part of that says they were leaking mucus? Hold on, let me look this up. Hold on. Hold on. Fnaf. About blood and first off, why the hell stage? I don't remember Phone Guy ever, like, mentioning anything about blood and mucus. I don't remember anything about him mentioning about people complaining about blood and mucus. I mean, probably about the mucus or the smell, but I don't know if there was ever signs of blood.
Smelling like death. If this was real and William getting away with it wasn't important for the plot, he would have been caught instantly.
That's where I draw the line there. That is where I draw the line there, okay? Considering you're showing the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 characters, that's where I draw the line. Depends on which restaurant you're talking about. And I don't think he would get caught instantly. Because I doubt he would get caught instantly. Because one, the cameras were turned off. The kitchen camera was turned off. There was no sign of any security footage showing William Afton killing in any continuity, as far as we know. And even then, considering that you're showing the FNAF 1 animatronics, William doesn't own that place. It's Henry's business. That's Henry's business, or hell, Fazbear Entertainment. So whoever owns it would be questioned first, and not William, because he left before the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, so yeah. Or even after FNAF 2's events. So by that time, he would have been at Circus Baby's Diner, so I'm not he would have been establishing his own restaurant, so I'm not sure about that one. I don't think he'd be caught instantly. Because there's two owners of Fazbear Entertainment.
Oh, we never found the bodies of these kids, but now these animatronics are leaking blood and smell like death. Hell, they even make bone-crushing sounds when they move.
I don't think they would. I mean, in Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, there's like a huge stomach cavity. I don't think they would make bone crushing sounds. I mean, maybe they would. But I don't know. It just seems like in FNAF 1, because in the Freddy minigame in Help Wanted, where you have to repair Freddy, it just seems like there's a lot of room. Hold on, let's get that up. One, two. Okay, I'm back again. Sorry. Okay, yeah. What was I doing? Oh, right. Okay. Alright, so this must be it. Hold on. Gotta check something as well. So this must be it. Hold on. Gotta check something as well. Yeah, okay. Right. So, as you can see here, if you can't tell, okay, as you can see right here, Freddy's stomach shows a lot of gears in here, alright? Now, obviously, obviously, this is a bad example because, like, it shows no corpse in here, but, like, there'd be no fucking... Here's my problem with this, alright? William would have to... The only explanation we have at the moment is that William had to have stuffed the suits. Had to have stuffed the children into the suits without the endoskeleton. And that would have killed them anyway because of all the wiring and shit. So my guess is that they did that, and that's what led to all this. Also, not to mention the fact that since these animatronics, the FNAF 1 animatronics are supposed to be the Wizards, are supposed to be the original Withered animatronics, that would mean that all the blood and mucus and all that crap would have been cleaned out, and the FNAF animatronics would only be smelling. Because, like, they're very old. So, therefore, this means that William would have stopped in a way. Unless, of course, they're talking about the FNAF 2 ones, then, and the Wizards, then be smelling. Unless, oh, no, wrong video. Unless they're talking about the FNAF 1 or 2 animatronics, then fair enough. But even then, the Wizards are in the back. They're not performing. So, I don't know what to say.
Should probably check this out. Oh look, turns out we found those missing kids. William Afton, you're under arrest for the murder of Cassidy, Fritz, Jeremy, Gabriel, Susie. Boom!
They wouldn't really assume William just immediately being the killer. Because that's obviously... Here's the thing, he's talking about this in a realistic setting, but like... In real life, they wouldn't just assume, oh, we found the missing children. Hey, William, you're under arrested. With, like, no proof at all that you did it, even though majority of people could have been doing it. Obviously he did, but, like, that wouldn't just assume he's the one that did it. Because all we know, it could have been Henry that did it.
Instant.
Obviously, we know. I'm just... Skepticalism.
I don't know how this wasn't an open and shut case. Straight up, William was so goddamn stupid.
Because A, Henry also owns Freddy's, and William left Fazbear Entertainment after Fredbear's or the second game restaurant, and B, he had his own restaurant. So either two options. It would have been whoever the fuck the CEO of Fazbear Entertainment was, or Henry. Because one of those two would have owned the restaurant. And William would have been wearing the Spring Bonnie suit like the very old stitched spring Bonnie suit from Help Wanted. So, no, it's not a very clear case. Like, the police don't have mind powers.
That he shouldn't have made it to the first game. Not to.
That's because he wore a suit, and he wasn't. And by the time in the first game, he established his own company called Afton Robotics.
Mention how stupid he was by building the Funtime animatronics with.
Those aren't the Funtime animatronics. Those are the toy animatronics. If you were going to mention the toy Funtime animatronics, why don't you just put a picture up of the Funtime animatronics? You wet wipe.
These item containment chambers, as he was calling it, since the cops ended up questioning him about why he made those design choices in the system.
I don't think it was the cops that. I don't think it was the cops that directly stated. Okay. That is also wrong. I don't think it was the cops that directly, like, asked about circus babies. Maybe it was. But, like, I like to think it was more of like an inspector asking, like a health inspector asking about the animatronics. Or a reviewer. Mainly just because, like, why would the police go to William Afton, immediately go to William Afton when he started his own company with his own advanced robots? Because by that time that wouldn't make any sense, because the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza would have already had the missing children, and William would have been inconspicuous, or however the fuck do you spell that word. C, there would have been 2 bite victims, so the animatronics could have led the animatronics to be the cause of the children's death in many of the public's eyes. And D, Afton has his own company, and as far as we know, has his own company by that time, and also, it's just like, it just feels like the case would have been dropped by then. I don't know.
Location opening scene. Plus, he superpowered the jaw of Fredbear from Fredbear's Family Diner to.
No, he didn't. Like, no, he. Okay. Here's another thing I'm going to criticize. Maybe try and, like, stick with the canon, or at least the official material. Because, like, in what part of the Silver Eyes trilogy, or in the Fazbear's Fright, or in the official games, has ever shown William or some doppelganger version of him hypercharging or superpowering Fredbear's jaw? Because, like, the only source of that is in the Baddington remakes of the Scrimpers McGwimpers Fnaf tapes. But those aren't official or canon. So in reality, this is completely invalid.
End up giving it a jaw that
The only reason his jaw closed was because the the crying kid was shoved into Fredbear's mouth by Michael as a prank, and the Fredbear animatronic was working completely fine. And to be fair, it's a fucking animatronic robot. It's not sentient. It can't feel a child's mouth in its. It can't feel a child's head stuck in their mouth. If it did, it would have pulled it out.
Accidentally killed his son.
It's not the Glamrock animatronics.
Absolute moron.
Okay, to be fair, and before what? This guy's. First off, you're looking in the mirror. Sorry. First off, though, you also have to remember that Michael was the one that threw Fredbear. Was the one who threw crying kid into the mouth of Fredbear. And, not to mention, Henry had to have helped make Fredbear. So, that also means that was Henry's fault. And that makes him a dumbass.
William, not the son. It wasn't his
What? Oh, you mean crying kid.
fault that he got his head shoved in.
D&D is for everyone, and D&D Beyond makes it super easy to play. And
Oh,
I am
stupid
about
If
I mean, technically it's the other son's fault because he chucked his kid in
he
there.
put it in there himself, it would have been his fault, but he didn't. Enemies. Now, while
I mean, if William put the crying kid in the mouth of Fredbear by himself, it would have been his fault. I mean, if William put the crying kid in Fredbear's mouth, that would have been his fault. But that was Michael that did that, and that wasn't even part of William's plan.
William did choose a set of easy marks, since, kids can't really defend themselves against a dude in a part animatronic furry suit, but he's a moron for exclusively killing that demographic only. I don't know why he did that. Sure, it's easier on him, especially when he's fully combined with an animatronic, but Henry serves as the opposition to William, and the reason William ends up burning multiple times. It's not Henry's fault that he turned into Springtrap, but it's certainly his fault that he turned into...
To be fair, in the books, William was willing to kill a bunch of teenagers. So yeah, he was going to kill a lot of supporting characters. I think he does kill someone. Actually, no, he only kills Charlie. But like, Charlie's a robot, so yeah. And also, Springtrap was willing to kill Michael in Fnaf 3 and 6, so it's not just down to one demographic. It's definitely... I think it was just the reason he kills kids is just either because he was pissed off that his own died, or they're just much more easy to manipulate and make him follow. I guess his employees as well, but even then... I don't know. And how do we know that... And also, as far as we know, how do we know that the other children that possess the toy animatronics, how do we know those are kids? For all we know, those could be teenagers that are stuck in the animatronics. And that goes the same for the Funtime animatronics. In fact, in the books, there's a girl called Millie, surprisingly, and she gets killed by Funtime Freddy, or a broken down version, and she isn't a kid, she's a teenager, so... I mean, that technically is a kid, but you know what I mean.
Scrap Trap, since this is most likely due to the FNAF 3 fire, and the FNAF 6 fire turned him into Burn Trap, so Henry has definitely been a pain in William's side for ages. Killing Henry would have resulted in nobody being able to chase William, basically. Like, Michael might have figured it out, but he wouldn't really be in a position to do anything without Henry. Henry gave him the FNAF 3 job, probably, and definitely gave him the FNAF 6 job, so if William had just offed Henry after offing his daughter, he would have had a much easier time. At least, I'd think so. That's why every...
Okay, but like, while that could be true in some respect, let me just say this for a quick minute. First off, it isn't really confirmed if Henry did give Michael the job in FNAF 3, or FNAF 6 at least. As far as we know, it seems that Fazbear Entertainment would have given Michael that job as well because of Hand Unit guy. Also, not to mention, I think it was a good idea for William to keep Henry alive for a good amount of reasons. For one, if Henry's alive, then that way the police could be... If Henry's alive, then... If William killed Henry, then that would have immediately meant that would have immediately excluded out William, and he would have directly been the cause of many deaths in Freddy Fazbear's. Because either him or Michael. So leaving Henry is a good idea because it could lead the public to think that Henry was the one who killed the kids. The 5 missing children. And not to mention the fact that Henry doesn't really do much in between FNAF 2 and up until this location until FNAF 6. So in a way, Henry didn't really do much anyway, and he doesn't really do anything. So I don't even think William was even going to be bothered by Henry at all. So yeah. So it's not really sure why William would just go to kill Henry. Plus, I don't even think William even saw Henry as a threat because, well, exactly. I mean, if William is able to kill 5 kids and hide them in a suit and get away with it, then William can just kill Henry, hide him in a suit or just somewhere, and get away with it. So in William's mind, Henry wouldn't even be able to stop. In William's mind, Henry wouldn't even be able to stop him, so yeah, pretty much.
Comic villain wants to kill the hero, right? Because if they do, they'll have a much easier time committing all their various crimes. So how is this any different? It shouldn't be. William is an absolute buffoon for not killing Henry when he had the chance. I'm sure it was Henry reporting him to the...
Technically, if you think about it, it's actually, if you're speaking like that, technically, if you really think about it, it's Henry's fault for not helping Michael finish off and William earlier or stopping him earlier, because or trying to stop him, because he does, as far as we know, he doesn't do much besides alert the police, and even then, it hasn't actually been confirmed. And considering the fact that the police don't even know, even if William is a culprit, even if William is seen as a culprit by the police, it isn't fully confirmed, so, yeah.
Cops, you killed this man's daughter. Of course he's gonna have some form of vendetta against your ass. He's coming for blood, and he actively tries to kill you multiple times.
Not true. He only tries to kill you once, because it isn't confirmed. Not true, because he doesn't do much in between Five Nights at Freddy's 2 or FNAF 4 and FNAF 6. You fucking buffoon.
That's not something that you should have just ignored.
Yeah, because in William's mind, Henry isn't a threat. Why would Henry be a threat to him?
You should have just killed Henry after his daughter, because honestly
He could have. He could have killed him. But he chose not to, because Henry isn't actively a threat. Because if the cops didn't do anything to William, then what is he going to do afterwards? Because he could murder William, but then that means he is going to be accused of being the one that murdered all the missing children. So in reality, Henry couldn't do anything. And William knows this, so you can't exactly blame William for thinking, oh, I shouldn't kill Henry, he's not going to kill me, because, he wasn't. He wasn't. Also, I'm sorry for the terrible William Afton impression.
makes sense. Then you kill his wife, or the mother of Charlotte, as long as she's in the picture, knows about it, and actually cares, because sometimes they don't. But
what do you mean sometimes they don't? We're talking canon here, you stupid pussy. What type of canon are you following?
Mom's gonna go after anyone who wronged their child, okay? Oh, that's something to witness, I'm telling you. Even my mom is vicious as hell, and she's the sweetest woman in the world.
Also, just to remind you, Henry's wife left the picture after her two children died, so yeah, that's something you didn't think you could learn. Am I right, lads?
So, you just get rid of the family, right? Especially when it's your business partner. God, you're stupid. And while William may never have been caught for these acts, that's simply because he couldn't get caught, or the plot would make no sense. So ultimately,
Or because he's cunning like that and he was wearing a spring bodysuit and he was actually careful about it, and because of the Funtime animatronics. And that's how he gets away with things.
the game had to find an excuse for his ridiculous behavior, but William could have done wonders if he had just been slightly more intelligent and maybe actually thought about things. Killing kids in your own pizzeria is horrible for business, so do that somewhere else, okay? If he had, he wouldn't have hid the bodies in the animatronics, which would have prevented the kids from attaching their souls to the animatronics that they were stuffed into.
But that's literally why he was killing them. That's literally why he was killing the animatronic. That's literally why he was killing the kids, just so because of the remnant. Dead spirits and remnant are like the exact same thing. That's why William was killing kids. The first time when he killed Charlie was probably because either because A, he's just a bad person and a real big shitlord, or because his own children died. And then when he first discovered Remnant, he was probably like, this is pretty cool. Let's kill more kids. Like, that's why he's doing it. If he didn't do it, there's no antagonist. And therefore no Five Nights at Freddy's.
Plus, William wouldn't have had to disassemble them, which accidentally released their souls, causing him to hide in his Springtrap suit. The Spring bodysuit would have fit.
I mean, nobody even. To be fair on William's part, the toy animatronics were disassembled as well, well, off screen. Disassembled, and we know they're disassembled because of the Fnaf 3 box. Those animatronics were disassembled, and those spirits never came out, or probably never existed in the first place. But who knows? So William could have done the same. So, as far as we know, that was a smart move by William. I mean, what else was he gonna do? Because what else was he going to do? Because if he knew that splitting the animatronics up would cause the spirits to release, then he wouldn't have done it. He would have found a completely new way. It's not like he knew that fire was the key to killing an animatronic or a dead spirit.
Without him inside, thus preventing Springtrap from being created, and
okay, but he had to, otherwise. Okay, I will admit though, him going into the spring bunny suit is kind of stupid, because even if the spring locks didn't go off, obviously it was dumb of him, because obviously the spirits would still attack him. And I don't even know, I guess his thought process was because FNAF 2's mask, but doesn't really work that way.
William wouldn't have been sealed behind a wall for 30 years. During those 30 years, he'd still be possessed by the one you should not have killed, since they didn't latch onto an animatronic in the first place, they latched onto him, and he'd be unable to properly die still. But he'd have an extra 30 years to work on bringing his...
Okay, Cassidy probably wouldn't have possessed... None of the spirits would have possessed Springtrap, because... Cassidy, okay, I don't even think Cassidy would even try to possess William, mainly because they just think he'd just die and that's it. Because why would they need to possess the man who killed them? That just seems like that just seems like really unnecessary thing to do. Because who else are they gonna kill by using this body?
kid back to life. He wouldn't have needed to send Michael to get baby from Afton Robotics' storage facility.
Okay, to be fair, he would have still... Okay, to be fair, he would have... Actually, William would have still done that, even if he was dead or alive. He probably would still... he probably still would, like, send Michael down that, because he's a shit father. He is, like, a bad person. So... he would send Michael down there. Probably to his death. Just because, yeah.
And Michael would have ended up fine.
And in fact, considering the fact that Michael was onto him, that's a smart move by William. Because Michael would have exposed William for the murders. And since William sent Michael down to get his sister, and Michael did in fact die, that was a smart move by William, so that way he gets Michael out of the picture, and then nobody stops him. Obviously, Michael came back to life, but still, it's a smart move, because because, like, Michael is the most likely person to try and expose William at the moment for the 5 missing children. Or at least 7, because... Or at least 6, because, you know, the puppet, but whatever.
Fazbear Frights wouldn't have opened, resulting in the place never burning down, and the Fnaf...
Fazbear's Frights would have still opened, and that's not Fazbear's Fright, that's the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Get your pictures right, you stupid bitch. Fazbear's Fright would have probably still opened because of, like, the incidences involving all the murders and shit. I mean, it's not like they opened it because they found an animatronic. They still would have opened it, so... yeah. It just wouldn't have been as dangerous because Springtrap wouldn't have been there.
It wouldn't have needed to take place. There would have been no need to repair the company image in FNAF VR. William...
I mean... yeah, they still would have done that. They would have still done that. FNAF VR's events would have still existed, except there would have been no glitch trap.
Would have been probably a millionaire, and he could have used that money to study ways to bring his son back. Company image and face, similar to how Henry...
if William cared about his son, which he doesn't.
Created the Ella doll in the novels. William could have poured his grief into something, watched it become possessed, and then worked on recreating that in a robot version of his dead children. If his children even died anyway. Since Fazbear's wouldn't have closed, he wouldn't have needed to open Circus Babies, resulting in Elizabeth staying alive. And since Crying Child wouldn't have seen her get scooped, he wouldn't fear the animatronics. Thus Michael not needing to put his head in the Fredbear mouth because he thought it was funny, because his brother was scared. His brother wouldn't have been scared, so Michael wouldn't have needed to do that.
If William wasn't a bad father, then yeah, none of this would have happened. That's like the simplest thing you could say.
Also just wouldn't have supercharged Fredbear's jaw, so even if Crying...
That's not canon. Stop getting mixed up with non-canon bullshit.
Child did get his head in there, which again I guess would technically be possible, he still wouldn't have died because of it.
Yes, he would, because the head would have still closed even without that made-up shitty hydraulic jaw that's not even in an official material of FNAF. It's in a fan material. This is just silly. This is really, really silly. It got some good points, but only like a few good points. It's like gay rabbits. Why? Don't know.
All of this simply goes back to William's first mistake, which was choosing to kill people in his own establishment. If that first kill also wasn't his business partner's daughter...
Also, can I just say, this guy's like using fan art. Oh, god damn it. Alright, I'm back. Like, can I just say that this guy has used a lot of fan art and fan images? This is fan art. This is Fan art. Hell, even the beginning thing is fan art. Like, obviously this isn't new for me, because I've seen this guy use fan art, but like... Bruh.
His daughter, nobody would have been suspicious
To all the people out there, there's your fan art. Go and kill this man. Okay, don't do that. Sue him. That's better. That's more safer way.
of him, and everything would have gone his way. Okay? Afton is smart. However, he could have been a lot smarter at the start, which would have resulted in him having an easy time on his killing spree, but I guess that would make for a very interesting game series, would it? There we have it.
No, it wouldn't. Well, this guy literally just contradicts himself by saying, if William didn't kill, then he would have been done better by killing. Basically, this man said if William didn't kill, he'd be a really good killer and would have gotten away with it by not killing. That's like if I said if the neighbor didn't kidnap children, he'd be really good at kidnapping children. Like, yeah, but that was basically the dumbest video I've ever done in my entire life. Oh god, okay, I'm not even gonna pay attention to the amount of bullshit that's even.
Move.
But yeah, that is the top 10 gaming. That is the top 10 gaming video I've reacted to today. This is a very strange thumbnail. Let's go back here. Let's not look at this guy's face. Let's just look here at this thumbnail. So yeah, just for the sake of this, I only made this video just because of boredom. Like, I don't even know why I made this video. I just made it because, hey, it's top 10 gaming. Hold on, I'm gonna read the comments actually. William Afton, Satan's mistake. William was smart enough to know that the police weren't smart enough to prove him guilty. That is true. Hate to say it, but there's actually two really messed up yet smart reasons. William won't kill Henry himself. He wanted to likely frame Henry for killing... That's what I said! That's exactly what I said! He wanted to frame Henry for the murders of the children, so keeping him alive is smart. Okay, I'm gonna skip all of this, because, like, yeah. Free. But if he killed Henry, he would be even more... Exactly! He'd be even more suspicious if he killed Henry. William was in the spring Bonnie suit to lure the kids away. Even though he was caught by the police, they had no proof that led to him. The police weren't questioning him about the Fun Times animatronics. It was an interviewer. See? Told you. It would be smarter if William Afton would kill kids at his competitor's location. Like, for example, Freddy Fazbear's company had a competitor, Randy's Raccoons. Well, that's the thing is, we don't even know if there is, like, a Freddy Fazbear's competitor. So we can't make shit up. I guess Freddy's could go... I guess they could... I mean, there is Juniors, but, like, we don't know if that's, like, we don't know if that's a competitor. And even then, William's banned from that place. It wasn't his restaurant. He was a former employee. It's pretty well hinted, if not outright established in the books and game lore, that he was going through a dispute of ownership with Henry. What did I say? I was wrong. I was wrong about the whole... I was kind of wrong about him owning the previous Freddy Fazbear's in the games. I mean, this is in the books. I mean, in the game lore. But I was right about him not owning the first game pizzeria and the second game. I might have said that, but whatever. Not necessary. Disney has a history of racism, sexism, and even in one case of defending an actual child toucher. But over the years, people tend to have forgotten about the stuff because Disney is good at hiding what they did for editing. That is true. Unfortunately. To be fair, Afton wants immortality. I think he did all this on purpose. He did. The restaurant was owned by Will. Okay, yeah. The subject is kind of my. This subject is kind of actually exactly what my Fnaf fanfics are currently trying to push through. Afton's absolute idiocy and why he never wins, even when he was up against the ghost children Lamal. Smarter villain doesn't mean better. That is true. Smarter villain doesn't mean better. Even in William's case, but your point, that is true. Dr. Eggman is like a guy with 30 IQ and not 30, 300 IQ, and he gets his ass kicked by Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, and he and the neighbor is supposed to and hell, I'll even mention another character. The fucking neighbor from Hello Neighbor made like traps and shit in his house, and yet he was still defeated by random These Nuts McGee from Hello Neighbor 1. Is there proof he actually made Fredbear's? No, you know what? You don't know. No, there's no proof unless you want to count the bad. How do you spell Baddington? Oh, it's not Baddington, it's Battington. I call it Baddington because I'm stupid. Baddington. Fnaf. Tapes. Which aren't canon or even official source. MatPat made a video on it. Well, MatPat's fucking wrong, dude. I mean, he's the same guy who said that FNAF 9, which turned out to be Security Breach, would take place in 1985, and it takes place in 2099. William was smart in FNAF. He was the first ever inventor of animatronic. Why didn't William just leave the country to avoid cat? I'm sorry, that sounds... I'm sorry. I'm not... Hold on, I'm going to try and read this with a straight face. Why didn't William just leave the country to avoid capture? And also, if blood and mucus were coming from the animatronics, why didn't they have the animatronics checked? Probably because his bloodlust and obsession of the animatronics. The police didn't have solid proof that William tied to the crime. For all they know, Henry were just as guilty. So no reason for William to flee. That is true. Sorry, that's just really dumb question right there. Why didn't William just leave the country? Alright. I'm gonna stop it for now, because my food's already here, so that's why I paused the video, so yeah. Oh my god. Why didn't William leave the country? So yeah, that was the What If William Afton Was Smart video. You can go check it out. I'm not going to leave a link because, like, it's top 10 gaming. Like, you can... It's top 10 gaming. Like, who the fuck is going to watch top 10 gaming and take it seriously as a good channel? Because, like, it's a fucking Fnaf milk channel. That's literally what it is. So yeah.